안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동탄 왕코입니다. 밤이에요, 밤. 지금 11시 넘었습니다. 오늘 아침에 원래 운동하려고 했는데 너무 피곤해가지고 못했어요. 그래서 이게 퇴근하고 와서 지금 운동을 하려고 합니다. 근데 더 피곤해요, 퇴근하니까. 죽을 것 같아. 그 회사 동생이 제 유튜브를 캡처해서 보내줬는데, 저쪽 방에 있는 저 턱걸이 있잖아요. 그 영상 조회수가 1000회를 넘었습니다. 이 내가 모르는 이 불특정 다수들이 이 1000회를 봤다는 게 너무 놀라워요. 제목에 진짜 이런 거 써야 돼. 진짜 그 썸네일이랑 제목이 중요한 것 같아요. 하지만 전 건강한 저를 위해서, 건강한 신체와 꾸준함을 위해 영상을 찍는 거기 때문에 욕심 부리지 않겠습니다. 일단 오늘 원래는 스쿼트 하는 날이죠. 근데 너무 피곤해서 스트레칭 위주로 우선 하고, 스쿼트 해보겠습니다. 해볼게요. 오늘 너무 힘들었어, 진짜. 하루 종일 8시간 동안 계속 걸어 다니고요. 그냥 단순하게 걸어 다니는 것만 하는 게 아니고 엄청 바쁩니다. 막 일이 막 여기저기서 막 날라와요. 아, 어, 보통 몸이 힘들면 정신이 안 힘들어야 되는데 정신도 힘들고 몸도 힘들고. 진짜. 진짜 이런 거 할 때마다 저희 아버지가 공무원이셨는데 정년 퇴임하셨거든요. 와, 진짜 어떻게 일을 하셨나, 그렇게 오랫동안. 존경스럽습니다. 이 대한민국에 있는 모든 직장인 여러분들, 월급쟁이 분들, 힘내십시오. 힘내세요. 이렇게 또 하루가 흘러갑니다. 전 오늘 또 이렇게 또 하루 스트레칭을 하겠습니다. 운동할게요. 물론 CNN을 보면서.
who have the mildest version of this don't even know they're ill. So the
Yeah,
spread.
but I'm talking about deaths here. That China may have concealed the true number of deaths.
Well, we really again won't know anything about that for any country for quite some time. When you really go back and look at these things, sometimes, especially a virus like this that arrives in a community before people understand, yes, it could have been killing people before anybody realized that that's what was killing people, especially since it was killing in the older age group. So people may not have understood that that was what was going on.
Yeah. A last one on South Korea, because initially the country was really praised for mass testing and containing the coronavirus curve, infection and death curve quite early, but now we're starting to see a small spike in cases in Seoul. And I wonder, how long do you think these containment measures would have to stay in place? Because we've seen in some parts of the world, when they are dialed back, you start seeing spikes again.
So this is again part of I shouldn't use the term learning curve, but we are all learning as we go and watching what this virus does and what different communities are doing to stop it. So indeed, the basics have to continue. The basics, the testing, the isolating, the understanding that we've got to avoid mass gatherings. We're really in it for the long term, and we really have to understand this year is a very different year for all of us.
Yeah. I can imagine. Dr. Margaret Harris, spokesperson for the World Health Organization, joining me live from Geneva. Thanks very much for your time. So many people starved for fact-based information. Still to come tonight, at least 2 doctors right here in the United Kingdom have died from the coronavirus, contracted while treating patients on the front lines of the outbreak. The latest from London is coming up. Plus, millions live in India's slums, and while the government has instructed them to stay home and self-isolate, well, many of them quite simply cannot do that. More on that later.
Transforming business, transforming communities, Dangote transformational projects, transforming Africa.
The world needs a team. This is why I brought you together.
We're asking people we don't know to risk their lives.
Oh. Strong man as strong as alone. Did it look back?
That's what it's saying. That's the opposite of what the saying is.
Divided. We are not enough. I'm a big fan of justice. Justice League premieres Saturday, 9 p.m. on More TV.
And now, a moment of wonder from Great Big Story.
First of all, we're girly girls. We like to be cute, but we still get dirty. Every time we come out, our shoes, our outfits are always matching, our makeup is done. When the curves come on the set, it's complete chaos. Riding bikes used to be a guy thing. Being a caramel curve, we have demanded our respect. I just encourage any woman that wants to ride a bike, that thinks that she can't do it, women can do whatever they want to do. I'm gonna ride cross country. I'm gonna go live, and I'm gonna do it in heels.
For more stories like this, visit greatbigstory.com.
Well, to the United Kingdom now, and a prominent epidemiologist here says the outbreak is showing early signs of slowing down. But as he tells the BBC, the development of an antibody test is critical in gaining information on the extent of the pandemic. And of course, it's early days. We're talking about numbers for 24 hours here. So it's important not to get ahead of ourselves. And we want to tell you about 2 healthcare workers who have lost their lives. These are people who are heroically fighting this battle on the front lines. Amjad El-Harani was an ear, nose, and throat consultant. He died Saturday. Also, Dr.
영국도
Adil
의료진이
Al-Tayyar,
2명이
former
사망했다고
transplant
하네요.
surgeon,
코로나
he
때문에.
passed away last week as well. Our chief international correspondent Clarissa Ward is live outside St.
자,
Bartholomew's
의료진 감염이
in London. And you've been speaking over the last several days,
분들의
Clarissa,
감염보다 더
with
위험한 게
doctors, nurses, and medical
의료
professionals.
공백이
What are they telling you about
심해지거든요.
where the UK is heading with this
의료진이
outbreak?
감염되면 의료진 주변 사람들까지 의료진
Well, I have to
감염이기
tell you,
때문에.
Hala, it's a pretty grim picture. Doctors are always being forced to make really difficult life and death decisions. Who gets the medicine, who doesn't, whether it's worth doing another round of chemotherapy, whether it isn't. But now they're being forced to make those kinds of decisions on just an enormous scale. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I spent quite a bit of time talking to a top London oncologist, and they were explaining to me that essentially they've been asked to categorize all their
유럽이
patients
언제까지
from
문을
1 to 6,
닫으려나.
with people in category 6 having the least chance of survival, the most sickly of the patients. Those patients in category 6 are now being told that they cannot continue to receive chemotherapy, that they cannot continue to stay in the hospital if they are indeed in the hospital, that they need to be released and returned home to receive palliative care. This, of course, is a decision, as I said, that a doctor would sometimes have to make, but now they're having to go through their entire roster of patients and call everyone in category 6 Partly because, of course, it's a huge risk for them, Hala, to even go to the hospital, given that they are in that highly vulnerable group, but partly because they simply need to get these hospitals empty so that they can continue to make room for the tsunami of coronavirus patients who are already starting to descend. But you can imagine the amount of pressure this places on doctors. This oncologist told me they're making the decisions in teams, but they have a real fear that in the future, some of these patients will take legal action, those who survive to tell the tale. And some of them, they said, are not happy at all about being told that they will no longer be able to receive chemotherapy, Hala.
I cannot imagine how stressful, how upsetting, and anxiety-inducing that is, already having to deal with cancer and then this on top of it. I mentioned the name of these two doctors. There are others, but these are the ones that we've confirmed and for whom we have photos. Dr. Amjad El-Hawrani and Adil El-Tayyar, two medical professionals who died after contracting COVID-19. Clarissa, talk to us about those medical workers.
Forgive me, Hala. So I just was going to show you, you know, there's a lot of, the front page of most newspapers today is carrying the images. This is of Dr. Amjad Al-Hawrani.
지금 11분 정도 운동했는데
at a hospital in
그만할게요.
the other Dr. Adil Al-Tayyar.
이거 아령 한 10번만 들고 오늘 여기까지만 하겠습니다.
A huge amount of mourning, really. People coming out
너무
and
졸려.
feeling a collective sense of grief because, simply put, the NHS National Health Service workers who are working in hospitals like St. Thomas's behind me are putting their lives on the line every single day, Hala. Many of them feeling extreme levels of anxiety that they don't have the right level of PPE and protective equipment. There is an ongoing review process
오늘 여기까지만 하겠습니다.
today to determine whether these medical workers need better PPE. But the